Hi, I'm Khrystyna Klimash, and you're on a podcast, Building Digital Products, where we speak about the technologies that can boost your business here and now. And our today's guest is Kevin Dooley, an experienced business growth consultant, investor, mentor, and six-time founder who leads strategy and growth initiatives. As a senior innovation coach, he mentors student entrepreneurs. Kevin also specializes in strategic mindset and business development. His expertise in marketing and growth strategies drives his mission to inspire and support founders in building their successful businesses. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Khrystyna. Thank you for that really great introduction. I love that. I might have to use that full one again somewhere.
Great. I'm very happy that you liked our introduction. And let me begin our conversation with the first question. To warm things up, you mentioned that during your college years, you launched a hot dog cart business. Are there principles you used back then that are still relevant for digital development and promotion?
Absolutely. So back in college, did a hot dog stand to pay my rent, my room and board at college. And fundamentally, it was the same thing back then that I repeated as I started 5 or 6 other businesses, and that is to know your buyer at a very deep level. So with the hot dog stand, we actually had the cart outside of the restaurants, bars, and clubs. And we knew that most of our clients would be leaving at about 2 a.m., which is when the restaurants and everything closed in the city that I was in. So we knew our buyers, would be hungry, would want something very quick that they could walk with on their way back to wherever they were going next. And so, that gets repeated over and over again, is to know your buyer at a deep level and then build something that serves them. So that's what the hot dog cart did, and that's what I did repeatedly as I started additional businesses.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's really important to deeply understand your client and maybe to understand the broader context, not just some general facts about your target audience.
Absolutely. Yep.
What is the most crucial lesson that you have learned about product market fit that every entrepreneur should know? Can you please share it with our audience?
Yeah. So product market fit, PMF is key, right? Like you shouldn't be doing a lot of other things downstream until you establish PMF. The important thing about product market fit is to get, a lot of people call it traction, right? Like the first step in any new business when you found a company is to get traction. That's typically in a PMF, product market fit market, right? So you identify a buying group, right? A niche or a specific buying group that sees the value in your product or service and is willing to pay you for it. That's PMF. PMF is not, getting a bunch of early sales, right? Based on personal contacts and having a very wide set of buyers, right? You want your PMF to be in a specific buying group so that you can trumpet and you can celebrate that you had PMF. Investors like to see that, your team likes to see that, you like to see that. And then the next step after PMF becomes, okay, so we got product market fit in this specific buying group. What are some other buying groups that we can tee up that are similar to this one, right? And then we can take our systems that we use to get PMF and scale those to those other markets. That's how you go from traction to momentum, right? That's how you ask investors, hey, I need this amount of money in order to scale my business. I've gotten product market fit in this specific buying group. Now I have these other ones teed up. All I need is the money to reach them.
Yeah, it's true. And also, I know from your social media that you have coached dozens of product founders. And what common pitfalls for the digital product creators tend to fall into?
It's funny because I thought it would be something about missing skill set, tactics, or strategies. But what I really think it is mindset, right? So there are really a lot of talented people out there that decide to start businesses, right? And they advance their skill set. So if they're a coder and developer and they're a techie, they advance, their coding skills. If they're a digital marketer, they advance their strategies and marketing tactics to reach buyers. But what often gets neglected is mindset. So the pitfall that I see is that the founders that I work with or talk to, a lot of them don't have the mental clarity on what their desired outcomes are for their business, so they can't take action. They can't take the next step. They can't make fast or quick pivots. They just get caught up in their head. So a lot of the things that I talk about, in addition to your skill set and experience and insight, is your mindset. So pay attention to your mindset and do some healthy things for your mind so that the rest of the things that inside of you can come out in a positive way.
Can you share some good tips that our audience can use to do something with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting clarity is all about quieting your mind, right? And so a lot of people use meditation to get that. A lot of people, spend time on ways that they can align their energy with the things they really want to do. A lot of it is to think inside out. Like, don't always look at the external world and react to that. Think, look inward, look into your heart and soul, right? Like, what do you really want with this business? What are your desired outcomes of this business? And, when I work with founders, especially young founders, they're just moving, they're just moving in a general direction, but they don't really know where they're going, right? Like, when you go into your car and plug in, an address into the navigation, it finds a roadmap to take you there. It's the same thing with businesses. I always have to take my founders back and say, hey, what are your desired outcomes for this business? Do you want it to be $1,000 business, $1 million business, $1 billion business? I mean, whatever your answer is, if it's, revenue, number of customers, market share, whatever it is in a digital business, we need to know that first, right? Before we put a roadmap, in place to help you reach that. A roadmap, could be a GTM plan. It could be a playbook, but whatever it is, it's a set of strategies and tactics to get you from point A, where you are now, to point B, where you want to be, what you want to become from a business standpoint. So it's really about using meditation and other ways to really understand what you want from this business. And of course, businesses that founders found that they're passionate about, right? Like, some founders, start a business just to solve a problem. Other ones have like a burning desire inside of them to solve this problem, right? And to build this business. It's easier if your business is a burning desire, but it's not impossible to get to that, mental clarity, even if you're just solving a problem. It's just about quieting the mind so you can figure out those desired outcomes.
Yeah, it's very nice metaphor, and I get that sometimes, as you mentioned, founders are a bit chaotic, and for them it's easy to forget, like the final destination. So you just always need to step back, to hold on, and just for a second, for a while, and understand like the big pictures and the big mission of your business, not to dive deep into this operational process.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
Yeah, it's very difficult to not fall into this. And you mentioned the concept of ditching the inauthentic pitch. And what's your time-proven approach to marketing digital products?
So with regards to the pitch, I mean, it's to be authentic, right? Like, I actually discourage people from going and using, like Airbnb's, pitch deck or some other great pitch deck that gets posted out there. I mean, it's a good reference tool, right? Like, what are some things that I should include in my pitch? But, pitches are storytelling, right? So when you have an opportunity to actually talk to somebody and you can give that pitch, narrate that pitch, then you want to tell a story from slide 1 to slide 15, right? If that's what you have in your deck. And you want to minimize risk as you go throughout your slides. Like, yes, it's a big market. Yes, we're solving a problem. Yes, we've got a great team in place. Yes, we know, we've done some research or customer discovery to know exactly what our buyers want. All those things are to minimize risk so that when you go from slide 1 to 15 and you get to that last slide where you ask for money, you've minimized risk along the way for a potential investor, right? So authentic pitches are, having been an investor, a coach, and even created my own pitch decks, right, to sell my companies. I've been on the 360-degree side of it. And I think it's really authenticity, transparency, and storytelling that really resonate because it's very competitive to get your pitch deck in front of somebody, right? And it's even more competitive to get your pitch deck with an opportunity to speak with it, right? Unfortunately, a lot of the founders that I encounter, when we start to talk about their pitch deck, they're just reading their slides, right? So they're not adding any value to the deck that, that somebody couldn't read on their own. So you want to make sure that when you get the opportunity to tell a story, you do that, and you tell it along the way, and you complement the slides that you're showing in your pitch deck.
Yeah, agree. And my last question from this section is about seasoned coach. How do you advise digital product creators to maintain their creativity and avoid burnout, especially during difficult times?
Yeah. So burnout is real, right? Like we all experience it in different ways with different things. And I think the way to do it is to to be creative, like you're saying. Like my mantra, right, used to be rise and grind, right? Like I'd get up every day, and if it took 10 hours, I'd do it. If it took 12 hours, I'd do it. If it took 16 hours, I'd do it. And that's what leads to burnout, right? Spending too much time. There's studies that show that, you can't have focused attention on any one thing for more than 4 hours, right? So now my mantra is rise and create, right? Because now, especially with digital, marketing and online businesses, because of artificial intelligence and AI, there's a lot more solutions to be efficient with your time, right? So to avoid burnout, it's really, at the risk of being redundant, but just to kind of drive this point again, it's really to look at things from the inside out, and it's to be well-rounded as a human, right? Like this business that you're starting is not the only thing you're doing, right? So there's mind, body, and soul, and there's your business. And so if you can pay attention to all those things and balance those things, it's become, people used to talk about, work-life balance. Now, to me, as a work from home guy, as a remote worker, as a founder and entrepreneur, everything's just kind of integrated together now, right? So one tactic that I use is time blocking. So I make sure on my calendar that I'm devoting some time to mindset, activities, to, physical fitness, to family time, whatever it is, it's on my calendar. And once you get the hang of doing it and repeating it, it becomes a habit. I just go to my calendar and everything's treated as an event. And I know I'm not going to sit and try to do a project for a client for more than 4 hours because, I'm getting diminishing returns, once I go over that. Science tells me that. So I'm not even afraid to take a nap in the middle of the day. So, there's been some studies of geniuses in history that used to take, this power nap thing where they would nap for 20 minutes. And when you get into, I don't know a ton about, the brain waves, like, if you look up Dr. Joe Dispenza, he could tell you at length about what happens, but there are different cycles or stages as you sleep. And if you can get into a stage of sleep where your brain is still like thinking creatively and your body's resting, then you can come out of that nap, right, without feeling, feeling more tired. You come out of it feeling energized. So I've been able to do that pretty successfully.
Yeah, that's great. Also, I heard the metaphors that sometimes, we in our careers are trying to run the marathon, and we are trying to run as fast as we can. But then after the marathon, we feel this emotional hole, and we are less productive then. And sometimes it's better to move slowly to your career ladder, but without this emotional damages. For a long term, it will help us to be more productive in the end.
Yeah, agreed, right? Because you need to surround yourself with good people too, right? So that when you take that break from work, you're engaged in other ways with other people. So yeah, I love that.
Thank you. And right now, I will ask you flash questions. I will give you two options, and you just need to pick the one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great. Discipline or creativity?
Creativity.
Employment or freelance?
Freelance.
Coach or build one more startup?
Startup.
What's first, value or confidence?
Value.
Morning coffee or morning yoga?
Ooh. both, but yoga first.
Great. Thank you for all your answers. It was really nice to have you today on our show. Thank you for accepting this invitation, and I will be happy to share with you this video later.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Khrystyna. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and have a great rest of your day.
Hit the like and subscribe button to not skip the following episode. Bye!